everyone, and welcome back. It's MJ Casliner. I'd like to go over November energy patterns in this video. So sit back, take a few notes, and let's delve in. Okay, so let's go over a few pointers here. Once again, we begin with fire to grave, and I mentioned this last month. Because fire is in its weakest influence, it goes into storage or confinement during this time of the year because the domain of the water element begins to wax as we enter in towards the winter months. So it just simply means that fire doesn't have its full capacity the way it would normally operate in other times of the year. Okay, so the fire element also is going to clash with that water element of the pig. So let's look at a few things here overall. We're in a fire pig month, okay? So a few things to call to mind. Personal growth, really, really important. Productivity. You might see some career shifts. So this is going to require strategic planning and organization tactics. May have to work harder. So it's going to be really important to counter the level of work you're doing with rest, restorative practices like yin yoga or restorative yoga. So this becomes really important. Now, the fire, albeit it goes to grave, we have to take into consideration that we are still in the presence of the wood snake year. So there is some fueling to that quality there. But what's happening, in addition to the waxing of the element of water, which is in clash with the element of fire, we have the pig and the snake that's also in clash. So the pig month of November to the snake year. When we have clashes, they can accentuate the qualities of these characteristics, and they can also create obstacles and challenges. And in particular, we might notice disagreements are magnified this month. So we may encounter at work or with friends or with family a lot of opinionated conversations. And so the key then is going to be to focus on a cooperative approach because this is going to be the best way to manage these situations. Otherwise, they can spiral out of control very, very quickly. So again, I mentioned that there could be a focus on career. Career aligns very much to the water energy as well. So strategic planning, okay, fine-tuning your skills or future projects. That's going to become really, really important as opposed to just trying to swan dive into something new. It's also going to be an important time to look at your finances and be mindful of what you're investing in, okay? Because you want to have some stability here because there is this, let's say, the foundation a little bit shaking because we have this clash between the fire and the water and the pig and the snake. Okay, so that's just something to bear in mind. In addition, so I'm just going to jump down here because I've already been tapping into the pig energy here. The pig and the snake with that clash can impact travel this month. So, need I say more? Compound it with the government shutdown that's still in effect here, and it has been impacting air travel because our air traffic control, they're not being paid, and there is a whole restructuring that is going to be going on with the whole travel industry here, especially with our air traffic control. So this month, and especially when we're moving into the holiday season, really be mindful of air travel, especially here with that clash. So also taking into account to infuse rest periods to balance it out with the chaos that may ensue with the clash going on here. Overall health. If we look at the pig energy, we want to be mindful of the bladder and kidney systems this month. Balanced diet, preventative care. So maybe, schedule your medical checkups. So that's going to be an important factor as well. So all this comes into play. One of the things to also be mindful of is the pig symbolizes home, family, and the comforts in life. So this is good timing because we are moving into the holidays. So being at home, family, friends really kind of is a nice segue into the pig energy. I'd like to shift a little bit to talk about the pig in terms of where it is directionally positioned. And it is northwest energy in terms of what we look deeply as our heavenly guidance and mentorship. So this becomes very important to connect with your higher self. So, a few things. The pig uh, really has a very close connection to Mother Earth or Gaia. And if we think about the pig, it really perseveres and it has a great fortitude and strength because it digs deep to find nourishment. And so symbolically, it's about um, getting quiet, going within, so restful periods. And as you do that, you find the treasures of grace within. And in terms of our biofields, our subtle energy body, grace is associated with um, the crowned biofield. And so it's a reminder then to transcend the pole of the lower self or the ego self, the shadow self, and those attachments to the physical world. Okay, and this is the way that we begin to learn the lessons of humanity and collectively reach a state of bliss. So this becomes really, really important during this month of the pig. In addition, it's about going into the depths of the oceans, if you will. We think about the living waters held within the earth. And so entering these deep waters is like entering into the original consciousness or the nature behind all things. So it represents the divine. There we go again, that pig positioning on the heavenly guidance sector. So it's about the cosmic mind, you know, and that it's everywhere and everything, okay? And that we can tap internally into our divine self, the infinite being, our soul, our spirit. And so when we look at things from this perspective, it becomes very apparent that what is little becomes much. Weakness becomes strength, doubt becomes faith, disease becomes health, question becomes belief. So whatever in your life seems deficient, if you rely on the principle of nature or original consciousness and the infinite spirit that lies within, then you can move beyond, what was into what could be. And this is the way we enter into a new reality, right? We exist on this earth as the eyes and the ears of the infinite being. And we begin to seek a deeper experience here. And that's when we begin to realize a variety of every possible viewpoint. So, again, another very important dynamic here. And as we continue to travel deeper and deeper into the energy of the pig and into this month, it reveals that there is an element of wood that is hidden deep, deep within. And wood is an element that is normally associated with the spring season, right? So if we go deep, deep within, it's like this birthing of new energy deep within us that we can begin to thrive and move on our path of our highest potentiality. So this is fantastic, right? So in our lives, this means that we need to take time and look within. We need to see what we have to shed so that we can grow and rise up. Okay? So, Mother Earth, which we're going to take a look at a moment at the 2 Earth star that also rises this month. Um, it's that impetus to go deeper within, get into the roots of things, like the pig bearing down deep for nourishment in the earth. Okay? Now, part of the process of moving inward is to give yourself permission to relax and go with the flow. So again, that pig energy, it's going to be important to take time to dethrottle, so to speak. Okay? So we want to be mindful of all that. That wood energy that lies deep within also resonates with liver chi. So good liver cleanses is also going to be mindful to do this month. Really, really important. Uh, go with the flow here because challenges will arise, especially with that clash of the pig month to the snake year and that water and fire that is clashing. As we continue to move deeper and deeper into the month, we become more familiar, the aha moments of heavenly guidance, guidance of the sages before us, and the abundance that we can find and the strength that is naturally activated with that. So, the discovery of original consciousness, that fullness of nature, which is behind all things. And when we look at things from that perspective, then once again, um, what we think is deficient is actually abundant. That little is much. Fear becomes courage. Illness becomes health. Doubt becomes belief. Falsehoods transform to truth. The unknown becomes the known. And so this is a state of new reality that we are about to enter. And especially this month as we keep sinking deeper and deeper into the pig towards the end of the month here. So this is a journey, okay? A willingness to release the old so new shoots can rise up, okay? So this is, what requires us to take time, move inward, go deeper, get quiet, right? Find the positive attitude to rise above the challenges because there will be challenges, right? Find that contentment. We call it santosha, okay? So finally, the pig does implore us to persevere, have courage, and to make right decisions. And part of this process is a fiery discipline that we refer to as tapas. And I speak to that in my newsletter this month. Okay, so fiery discipline, it's that passion to burn away the impurities and that stand in our way. So as we burn away these impurities, we can pave the way to true greatness. And it certainly depends on how we choose to make our decisions. Okay, so that fiery discipline opens up what we call the city of jewels. And this is where we can find that clarity, that wisdom, that self-confidence, well-being, because we're coming from a higher state of the self. Okay? So this becomes really, really important on the journey through the pig. Now, the 2 Earth star also will open up this month. And this is what we consider a distant future star of prosperity in our relationships in particular. The 2 star is a partnering energy. It has an earth quality to it, so it is quite grounding. As I mentioned, communication is going to be essential this month because the pig month of November is in clash with our snake year. So we are going to find disagreements, a lot of opinions. So we want to be mindful of that. Okay? We also need to find that balance between giving and receiving. A lot of times it's easier for us to give and we find it difficult to receive. So you want to manage that. Loyalty, supportiveness, kindness. It's going to go a long way this month, especially during this clash where communication is going to be a challenge. Okay? And then I'd also invite you to reassess your home environment. Okay? Develop a loving relationship with your dwelling because there is this constant synergy and interaction relationship that we have with our dwelling. It really is an extension of ourselves. So love your space and everything that you choose to put in it. So reevaluate there. Keep the vibration high. And when you do this, you're going to nurture yourself and everyone who graces your home. Okay, so I think that gives you a few things to focus on for the month of November. Until then, namaste.